What is up, guys? Britannic here. This is going to be my NASCAR playoff prediction video. I was debating on doing this one just because, I don't know, I haven't done one of these in a good few years. I didn't know if anyone was going to watch it. I didn't know what was going on with these type of things. I made a prediction. I made my predictions on paper a while back ago. Not too terribly long ago, but obviously when the format was created, I think that night actually, I made my first predictions and I kind of stuck with them, and that's what it's going to be on here on video. So I decided to put it out on video, debated on doing it, decided to do it. It's actually very last second. I'm recording this at 3:44 a.m. Sunday morning of the Darlington race. So this is a very last second race. It's going to feel kind of like rushed and trashy, and that's why. It's because I'm just trying to rush through this video, put this out here, my predictions. So we'll see how they go at the end of the year. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you what my predictions look like compared to other YouTubers that have made prediction videos. If you don't see your favorite YouTuber on there, it's because either I don't watch their content because I think they're garbage, or simply they didn't make a video on it. So with that being said, let's go and move on with this for the very, very first round. Going into the round of 12, I have Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, and Matt DiBenedetto. Seems like a pretty simple round of 12. Nothing too crazy, nothing too surprising, I think, here, which I pretty much expect that to go in this first round. I don't expect any surprise winners or anything like that. That means our four going out, of course, would be William Byron, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, and Clint Boyer. These four, I just don't think they've been consistent enough. They haven't been good enough. I don't think that's very controversial. I don't think that's very hard to see. I think that's just going to be the way it's going to be. I don't expect any surprises there. DiBenedetto might be surprising for actually getting into the next round, but I think he's just been consistent enough. He's just been there, and that's why he was able to point his way in. He's just been there enough to be relevant. I think going into the round of 12, I think he might step it up a little bit. A couple tracks, especially Bristol, have been really good to Matt DiBenedetto. I think, though, that advantage right there, Bristol especially, will be the final push he needs to get into the next round. That being said, with that being our round of 12, we're going to move on to our round of 8. In our round of 8, we have Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, and Kyle Busch. Those are a round of 8. Kyle Busch may be surprising to make it this far, but although I think he's been really, really struggling this year, I think he's going to do good enough to finally break through and either get a win or just point his way in, because he's been up front for the most part, and it's something bad's been happening. That's basically how the season's been going. So I think either he's going to be able to get something together finally, get that win, or he's just going to be consistent enough to get stage points, going to be rolling around there, and be good enough to get into the next round. Kind of like what DiBenedetto was doing to get into the playoffs in the first place. That being said, DiBenedetto, Kurt Busch, Almirola, and not Alex Bowman, excuse me, and Ryan Blaney will be eliminated. Blaney was the toughest one to decide if I wanted to put it in or not, because Blaney has been good, but I don't know how I don't know. He's been good, but he's not been that good. It's been hit or miss with Ryan Blaney, to be honest. All of his really strong runs and really well performances have been earlier in the season, not so much recently. So I really don't have Ryan Blaney making it past the round of 12, and that was a tough decision for me to do. And I think that one's more of like a curveball than anything else, to be 100% honest. I don't have a super solid reasoning for that, but If you watch Eric Estep video, there's always a curveball in it. I think Blaney might be the brunt of that curveball. Just by the way his seasons typically go in the playoffs, I think it's something that's kind of par for the course, to be 100% honest. With that being said, we have 8 drivers left. We have to eliminate half of them to get to our final 4, our championship 4. And I'm very happy to tell you who I think my championship 4 is going to be. 2 of them I think are not surprises, but the other 2 were pretty hard decisions. And you guys should know automatically what those 2 easy ones are. Of course, that being Harvick and Hamlin. The other 2 that I decided were going to make it in this year is going to be Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski. Now, this is a very, very hard decision, especially between the 2 Penske guys. The reason why I have Chase Elliott in is because Kansas and Martinsville are 2 very good tracks for Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott actually has a win at Kansas in the fall race, and Martinsville, of course, we all know he almost won in 2017 if it wasn't for Denny Hamlin knocking him out of the way, knocking Chase Elliott out of contention to win the race. Elliott may very well won that race. That being said, those 2 tracks are very good for Chase Elliott. He's going to be very consistent at those 2. Texas has been okay for Chase. He's been consistent enough there. I think he may be a factor. Consistency may be key for Chase Elliott's guide through into the playoffs. So the other 2, like I said, Harvick and Hamlin, they have plenty of playoff points. There's no disputing that at all, that they're going to make it all the way to Phoenix. I don't think anyone is betting against them at all. It'd be very foolish for them to not make the Final 4 in your predictions. It would take a lot for them to miss it. Keselowski over Logano was a very tough choice. It was almost a coin flip because their season has gone almost identical. Keselowski has more wins by 1 than Joey Logano. And the only reason why I have Keselowski going in is because his momentum has really been more recently than Joey Logano. Joey Logano has not won a race since the pandemic. That being said, Keselowski being more on the momentum, being more consistent and better later on in the season, closer to the playoffs, I think that's really going to be what's the key factor here. Since the pandemic has gone and come and gone, really, Logano has not been in wing position. He's been up front for a lot of times, but he's not been in position to win the race, whereas Brad Keselowski has, to the point where he's been able to execute, either clutch some wins because of somebody else making a mistake, or just be there at the end of the race and have the full run. That being said, I think Keselowski can easily keep that momentum going through the playoffs. A lot of these tracks are really good tracks for Brad Keselowski. I don't think it's out of the question to have Keselowski over Logano going into it. That being said, one of these drivers has to be crowned a champion. It was a hard decision between Hamlin and Harvick. I think Keselowski and Elliott will be non-factors just by the way the season's been going. I think Harvick and Hamlin are just been dominating. I think it's just going to go all the way through the playoffs, including the final race at Phoenix. And that's the key thing right there, is at Phoenix. Since it's at Phoenix, I can't bet against them. I really do think the very first Phoenix champion in the Cup Series is going to be Kevin Harvick. It's just too fitting. It's just too much of a storybook for it to not happen, I think. Kevin Harvick, at the best track of his career, who was notorious for being amazing at Phoenix, going to the Final 4 at Phoenix, I don't see how you can count against him. I really don't. So, yeah, I have Kevin Harvick winning the championship this year. Simple as that. I don't see why anyone would dispute me there. I don't see how anyone can say I'm wrong with that. I think it makes too much sense. I think it's too perfect, and too perfect for it to not happen. So here we go. Kevin Harvick will be your 2020 Cup Series championship, getting his second championship both in his career and second championship since the playoff format has started. With that being said, I decided to be a little bit interesting. I wanted to see what my playoff predictions looked like compared to other people's that have made videos on it. So I've decided to go and put mine up against other NASCAR YouTubers, some very small ones, some very large ones. So here's mine, all the way over to the top left is mine, of course, Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, Keselowski. Next up I put is NAS Rush Field, or NRF. He put Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, and Truex, as did Eric Estep, as did Jet MDK. I saw it was really interesting that those three all picked the same exact Final Four drivers, and one of which was not the same one that I picked. I also want to point out that I have the exact same playoff format picks as Nikolai Kulp and as Biggs Racing. Two smaller YouTube channels that I actually did not know of until after I started making this video and did research on this. So I thought it was very interesting that I had the exact same playoff predictions as those two. I didn't put it on video, and I made these predictions, like I said, the night of the playoff format being decided. I just thought it was quite interesting that that was the case with that one. I think it's also interesting to point out that Danny B. Talks and Gary Owen both have Kyle Busch in the Final Four, despite him struggling all year. I think it's kind of interesting. I think it's really cool that they're going to put him in there. I think that they expect Kyle Busch to pick up some momentum before the end of the playoffs, and I think that's what they're kind of banking on with that. They also have Elliott going into there, which again I think they're going on the same thing that I was going on, where he's just really good at these playoff tracks. I think that's really going to be a big decider for Hamlin, or for Elliott getting in. I think if something's going to be Chase Elliott's heel, it's going to be a bad crew chief call or a bad pit stop in one of the races. That's going to decide Chase Elliott's championship implications, I guess. So I think that's going to end it here. I thought it was a really interesting video to compare a bunch of them. So I think that'd be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, it's really, quickly thrown together video. I don't expect the quality to be very good on this video. But if you guys liked it, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys comment. Let me know what you guys think. Who's your Final Four? Who's your champion picks? I really want to know what you guys think. I think this is a very interesting thing to look at. A very interesting a way people have been thinking about this, what their thoughts are, what's their thought process going through these round of 16 all the way through into the championship. I like to see what you guys think, because it's very interesting what different points of views we have, despite looking at the same format and despite looking at all the drivers and the same stats. It's interesting what people get out of it that is different than somebody else's. So that's one of the reasons why I made this YouTuber Final Four prediction sheet here, because I think it's interesting. It's interesting how close we are, yet how different, and have different reasons for it. If you guys want to see their different reasons, just look up their YouTube videos. Look up their YouTube channels. Their YouTube names are all right there on screen. So yeah, go check them out. Go see what they got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think. And I think that's it for this video. So until next time, see you all later.